LG&E, Marcus Green joining us first thing to talk about this as we come back on the air. A judge ruling the utility company can take some of Bernheim forest land to build a natural gas pipeline in Bullitt County. Marcus, you've been following this case for years. If people have read WDRB.com, they know that. Kentucky law lets utilities like LG&E take land for projects like pipelines. So what was Bernheim's argument here?
So the main argument that Bernheim made was that while it's obvious that eminent domain law allows private property to be taken for these projects, for public use projects like pipelines, Bernheim's lawyers said, no, this is public land. This land was purchased with money from the state, from a state conservation fund. So it tried to weave that argument into the proceedings, and it failed. The judge said that there's enough case law and state law to overrule that. So the ruling last Friday, Judge Rodney Burris, Circuit Court of Bullitt County, said, LG&E, you can take this pipeline. You can't take land for this pipeline.
So there are more than 70 parcels of land here along the pipeline route, but the fight over the Bernheim property has really kind of become the center of the debate, and it's even extended to the Louisville Metro Council, right? It
has. You'll recall Bernheim from the very beginning has waged a very aggressive public relations campaign. You'll see these signs say Bernheim Forest in people's yards, and that's extended to the Metro Council. Councilwoman Betsy Rui introduced an ordinance, resolution, that would essentially condemn Bernheim's use of eminent domain for the project, for the pipeline project. And here's what Betsy Rui said yesterday when we talked to her.
I hope to leverage the power of the people and to put some pressure on LG&E because we're the ratepayers. And we're going to be the ones paying for this pipeline, which if it ever gets forced down their throats that they have to stop using fossil fuels, is going to be what's called a stranded asset. And as the ratepayers, we're going to have to pay for it.
All right, so even though the judge has sided with LG&E, this isn't the final step. So what else are you watching here, Marcus?
Well, there's three things that we have to look for in the weeks and the months ahead. First is whether or not Bernheim is going to appeal and take this to the state appeals court. They've got 30 days to do that, so May 1st or around then is when that decision will have to be made. Secondly, there's a bundle of other cases from landowners whose property has similarly been condemned by LG&E, and they've appealed those rulings to the appeals court. No action's been taken there. And thirdly, the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers last year suspended a key permit for this pipeline project to do an additional assessment to determine whether or not there are additional impacts to endangered species. So while it's a big win for LG&E in the Bullitt County case, there's a longer road ahead to finally make this pipeline a reality.
And before you go, Marcus, we should tell the folks at home that you told me before the broadcast today that you wore your good shoes. Can you put those in view so the people can see them? They cropped it.
I did.
Look at that. Freshly polished, people.
That's right. Some skills you never forget.
Marcus, thank you.
Thanks, Chris.